Are you actually a hard gainer, or are you just screwing up one of these three things? Let's find out. A little game I like to call Just the Tips. First and foremost, if you've been banging your head against the wall getting no results and you feel like you're not even a hard gainer or you're whatever below that is, just know that no one is ever completely screwed. And if you fix the three mistakes I'm about to show you, you're going to get results. And believe me, I get it. I used to think I was cursed by the universe, and I traced it all the way back to when I was a kid, and I pinched off one measly cigar in a urinal, and because of that, I was destined to be small forever. Here's the deal. Everybody has the potential to completely transform their physique, and yeah, while it might be easier and quicker for some people, believe me when I say those people aren't blessed. You know how many personal trainers I've ran into with a gifted metabolism that really have no idea how to actually help people? They get stuck after they tell their clients to eat a healthy bowl of cereal in the morning and switch their bread to whole wheat instead, and as their clients progressively get chubbier and chubbier, they have no idea what to do. Don't worry, Pam. Most of that's muscle. That fat will start melting off in no time. Yep, you put on 30 pounds of muscle. Good job. The truth is that the harder the journey is, the more you're going to learn about yourself, and then be able to turn around and help the Pams of the world that other trainers have fucked up. But first, we got to fix the trifecta of things you're doing wrong. Let's start with the fact that more than likely, your diet sucks. All the dicks. I want you to think back to your high school football coach, or maybe that old guy at the gym who constantly reminds you that he used to be as big as you when he was younger. And I guarantee they fed you the same bullshit adage. You want to get big? You got to eat big. What a bullshit directionless analogy. That's like saying, you want to get laid? You have to fuck things. You know what happens when you eat big? You take big shits because you end up taking on the persona of somebody who values quantity over quality. A good example of how prevalent this lie is go to your local GNC and talk to the guy behind the counter who takes his job way too seriously. The senior nutrition and health advisor, chief dickhead, I don't know what their titles actually are, and say, hey, I want to put on more muscle. What should I take? And he's going to promptly send you over to the weight gainer section, which not only is the wrong approach, but once you start reading the ingredients, you'll quickly realize that you're better off throwing a couple Big Macs in a blender and chugging that down. Side note, if you're watching this video and you happen to be over 4 bills, please do me a favor. Go to GNC and talk to the guy behind the counter and say, hey, I want to pack on more mass. What should I take? And watch him nervously try to figure out what to sell you. I guarantee you either leave with Flintstone vitamins or some Nugenics. When it comes to your diet, make sure you're choosing quality over quantity. And also make sure that getting all your protein in is your number one priority. No longer are you going to have snacks like a handful of nuts or an apple with peanut butter unless you want to continue to look like you're a 6-year-old. So that means getting an adequate amount of protein with every single meal. So if you need those nuts, pair with a protein shake. And even if you're one of those lucky bastards who are extremely lean but a size small, I would still apply the principle of highest and best. What's the highest quality protein I can eat? What are the best source of carbs that I can have? And what are the healthiest fats I can add to my diet? Most of the time, that's not the case though, because true ectomorphs are pretty few and far between. Most of us are some weird fish baby hybrid, and we have the muscularity of an ectomorph, but we can put on fat real easy like an endomorph. All of the bad, none of the good. So all that means is you're going to have to be even more meticulous with your diet. There's times you're going to be in a calorie surplus, and other times you're going to run a deficit. And you can do this on a daily or a weekly basis. On a daily basis, it looks like carb cycling. On your rougher days, legs or back, you'll be in a surplus, run a deficit the rest of the time. When you're doing it on a weekly basis, you might take a whole week or even 2 weeks of being in a calorie surplus, and depending on how much of a propensity you have for becoming a big fat mess, you might take a week or even up to 3 weeks to diet off some of that excess fat. The second thing is your training itself. And there's a very clear scale of hypertrophy, and if you fall on the extreme ends of it, you're not going to get results. So at this end of the scale, we have the person that stays at home and flexes in front of the mirror like a sociopath, and obviously they have a great connection to their muscle, but they're not really flexing against any resistance whatsoever, so the results are going to be dismal because they're at home, flexing in the mirror, most likely bottomless. And on this end, we have the person that goes to the gym and goes as heavy as possible. Zero fucks about what muscle they're connecting with. Their one goal is to get to the bottom pin on every single machine because that unlocks Star World. This one has the opposite problem. All the resistance in the world, zero connection. The sweet spot and where you want to be is in the middle. Either erring on the side of having a better connection and focusing on higher volume or progressively overloading and moving more weight. For me personally, I prefer higher volume workouts and focusing on the connection, because when you're a beginner or a hard gainer with shit form, it gives you a very clear signal on whether or not you're doing it correctly, because if that muscle you're trying to target is on fire, you did a good job. When you're progressively overloading, you can easily mistake just moving weight for a successful set. Lastly, and one of the biggest things that holds hard gainers back is a lack of consistency. When you're not seeing results right away, it gets frustrating. And then you end up missing a day at the gym here and there, you skip a meal, and then you change your program after a week because it's not getting results. Working out is a grind with very few wins. You're constantly kicking your own ass in the gym, pushing yourself to failure, and rarely do you even see the slightest sign of progress unless you hold your breath, flex as hard as you can until you almost pass out, and you might see a new vein pop up. But for the most part, it's judged over long periods of time. But that only happens when you're consistent. And life's going to test you. It's going to match you with somebody on Bumble and tempt you to skip the gym and try to put your P to the V, but just know that that's life's way of checking how committed you are to reach your goals. And it's also going to come from the people we're closest to. They're going to say, why are you spending so much time on this frivolous goal? You're wasting your life. And one day we might look back and realize they were right. But I have a feeling we're all going to spend our lives on frivolous shit, so it might as well be a goal that's going to teach you discipline, patience, persistence, and that way, when one day you decide to shave your head and realize it looks like a giant testicle and kids run up and kick you in the shins because they think you're going to bomb atrocity, at least you got a little muscle on you. And if you need help kicking your ass and you haven't checked out the 30-Day Garage program, it's 30 days, 20 videos, $20. Pretty damn simple. And if you need specific help with your diet, I'd watch this video next. Also another one of my favorites, but most importantly, subscribe, hit that notification bell, get after it, get growing. Talk to you soon.